neighbors, it's Brad here at Etrailer, and today we're taking a look at installing the Etrailer trailer hitch on a 2022 Nissan Rogue. Now this is what your hitch is going to look like when it's installed, and the great part is it's a hidden cross tube, meaning the only thing that's going to be visible is the usable part of the hitch, so you get all the function, but really don't detract away from the OEM look of the vehicle. And this one is a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening, which means you're going to have tons of options when it comes to bike racks, ball mounts, or cargo carriers. Now all of those accessories are going to stay in place with a 5/8 pin and clip. Now this does not come with the hitch. A lot of times when you pick up accessories though, they'll have a pin and clip included. If you plan on leaving your accessories on your vehicle, whether it be a bike rack or cargo carrier, I recommend picking up a locking version, which we have here available at Etrailer, and that way you can leave your accessories on, locked in place, and know that no one's going to walk away with them. Rolled style safety chain loop makes it nice and easy to hook up your safety chains from your trailer, whether it be a standard S-hook or even a larger clevis style. And speaking of towing, you're going to want to adhere to the weight capacities of your hitch as well as the vehicle. So you're going to want to check your vehicle's owner's manual, see what it's capable of towing, and then compare it with these weight capacities of your hitch, which are pretty decent. You have a gross trailer weight rating of 3,500 pounds, which is going to be the weight of the trailer plus the accessories loaded onto it. Your tongue weight rating is going to be the pressure that's put on the inside of the receiver tube opening. So that's going to be your bike racks, cargo carriers, or anything that's suspended. That comes in at 525 pounds, and that's really a pretty good number. So if you have a 4-bike rack loaded up with bikes or a cargo carrier loaded up on vacation, you should be able to handle that weight. Just make sure you stay underneath that capacity. Now from the center of the hitch pin hole to the furthest point of the rear fascia, we're looking at about 6 inches. It does sit back a little bit, so something to keep in mind if you're picking up accessories that stow like a bike rack or cargo carrier, you want to make sure that it's going to be able to fit without making contact with your fascia. So I recommend taking a look at those specs on Etrailer's website to make sure it'll clear. Now, something that I will say is when that's stowed up in the vertical position, you probably aren't going to be able to open up your rear hatch, but if it's empty, you can just drop that down and you'll be able to open up the hatch, no problem. And as far as ground clearance goes, this one comes in at 12 inches, and that's going to be really important when choosing a ball mount for towing a trailer. You can take that measurement, compare it with the coupler height of the trailer, and determine the rise or drop necessary to get your trailer nice and level. But other than that, it's super easy to do. I'm going to walk you through all the steps to make sure you get it installed. So let's take a look at that install. To begin your installation, you're going to want to grab the bolt from the hardware kit that's included with the hitch, and we're going to test to make sure that this goes in nice and clean. Sometimes over time water can build up in the weld nuts, creating it a little bit of tension when you put these in. So making sure these feed in before we raise the hitch up is going to save ourselves a little bit of headache. Now we're going to be looking at this weld nut as well as the one on the furthest rear, and just take your bolt. It should kind of just thread in there nice and easy, and if you're getting any resistance, that's where you can either power this through with an impact, but if it's binding up too much, you don't want to damage the threads. So what you can use is a tube brush, which does a good job of just kind of cleaning out these holes. This is just going to kind of be a wire brush here that will knock any of that debris loose. You can use some penetrating oil to help it along, and if it's really serious, you could get a tap to go through those, but generally you should be able to get it cleared out enough to get your hardware in. So just test to make sure that all your hardware threads in fairly easily. Now in the instructions, they say to take out these plastic push pins here to give you a little bit of extra room to get the hitch up in place. Well, I went ahead and tested ours, and it doesn't seem like there's any issues of getting it up there, so you could probably skip that step. If yours maybe is a different trim package and it's a little tight, feel free. You can pop these out using a flathead screwdriver. You'll just simply pry on the center portion, get that to pop out, and then you can remove the entire plastic push pin. It's just these two, and that's going to give you a little bit more flex to be able to slide that hitch up. But since ours has the gap, we'll go ahead and get our hitch up. Before you raise the hitch up, have your hardware handy with the conical tooth washers on there. There's little teeth that's going to bite into the metal of the hitch, so just make sure they're facing the same way. And we're going to get one started on each side. That way the hitch is supported and we can get the rest of the hitch install or the hardware in place. Now the exhaust here on the passenger or on the driver's side, we're going to want to go over that. So just make sure clearance-wise, that's where you're looking first. So just clearance-wise, just slide this up over the muffler and up into place. And once you get these holes aligned, we'll just go ahead and get our bolts started in those weld nut holes. You may need to move the hitch around to get it aligned. And just a few threads started on each side should be enough to hold the hitch up for us. The hitch is fairly heavy, so if you need an extra set of hands to help you out here, you might want to ask someone, but I was able to slide this up. Got both of these started, so I'll go ahead and grab the other 2 bolts and cold tooth washers and get those started as well. You may need to move the hitch a little bit to get this aligned, but once you get this to drop in, you just hand tighten this in place as well. Now we'll go ahead, we'll snug all these down with a 3/4 inch socket. Now we're going to come back with our torque wrench in that same socket and torque them down to the manufacturer's recommendations and the instructions. Now if you need a torque wrench, you can pick one of those up here at Etrailer, or you can go to an auto parts store and generally rent one for free. This is going to be a 1/2 inch torque wrench to achieve the torque setting, so that's going to be the one that you want to pick up. Now we'll just go through, torque down all of our hardware to that torque setting. Now, once you get everything torqued down, if you remove those plastic push pins, you can put those back in place. All that's left to do is load up your accessories and hit the road. And that was a look and installation of the Etrailer trailer hitch receiver on a 2022 Nissan Rogue.